So now I just need to deal with the scrap. Oh, there goes the wind taking out the tripod. All right, beautiful people. Let's see. Today I have a doctor's appointment, so I get to play hooky from work, and that oddly means I have a little bit of time before I need to head down to Seattle, where I can throw some varnish on the boat. It is October, and in the Pacific Northwest, it has been rainy here in October. Nothing but rain and wet, and there's mushrooms growing in the lawn, and there's deer poop in the lawn, and working on the boat has slowed to a crawl. In today's video, we're going to be using the templates to cut out the parts of the boat and get them all prepped for stitching them together. So I hope you guys are enjoying the series, and I will see you guys at the end of the video. I listen to a lot of books on my phone, and I listened to a book that was the first book in a series, and it was actually really good. Oddly, well, not oddly, it was actually really good, and the problem is that the second book in that series was not available, and so I had to put it on hold at the library. And I went to the recommended reads underneath that book, and I listened to another book that was not nearly as good. In fact, I would say that it was bad, but along the same lines, kind of, I guess it would be considered teen fantasy, but I'm not really sure. The first book would have fallen under teen, but the second book definitely fell under teen fantasy. Not nearly as good. In fact, it was actually pretty bad. So The second book was also the first book in a series, and then I went to the recommended reads, and I landed on the book that I'm listening to now. To say that this book, the book that I'm currently listening to, is bad is an understatement. I am thoroughly confused by the book that I am currently listening to. And saying that I'm confused is putting it incredibly mildly. I don't understand the character's motivations for anything that happens in this book. And really, like on some levels, like in some books you can go, okay, that character in the book just acted out of character in order to forward the plot. And you know, you can listen, you can, like, you're reading it or you're listening to it and you go, okay, like I can see what the author was trying to get to. They needed to have this happen in order for the plot to move forward, and realistically, in a normal situation, no one would do that, but it had to happen that way in order for the plot to go the way it's going to go. The book that I'm listening to now takes the idea of like having things happen strictly for forwarding the plot so far that there's no believability to any of the characters, because the whole book is the plot being forwarded. It makes no sense at all. So, in the book, the book takes place, the character's been out of high school for 11 years. They're very clear about that part. So, this is an adult. These are adults. And, I mean, like, 11 years after high school, if you graduate at 17 or 18, you're pushing 30. So, one of the characters is a sheriff, and the other character is a girl who he cheated on in high school. Like, he cheated on her in high school at the prom, all right? So this is like the main character was cheated on by a guy who ended up being the sheriff. They're now in like almost 30 when they were in high school. Okay, so now, as an adult, he is singling her out, right, for like doing crimes and stuff. Well, not doing, sort of. Like, he's harassing her. Like, this officer, the sheriff, is harassing her. And currently in the book, it's his day off, and he showed up at her house to hassle her. And then, without being asked to, he kissed her. And then another guy showed up who also wanted to kiss her. And then the sheriff and the other guy got into an argument. Okay, so, completely inappropriate, and this sells, oh my goodness. Okay, so this sells love as, like, people abusing each other to 7th and 8th graders. Now here's what sucks. Because I've started listening to this book, I can't stop listening to the book until it's done. And I really hope that, like, something goes wrong and it accidentally deletes itself from my phone so that I don't have to listen to the whole thing. But the worst part is, today I have to do like 5 hours of driving and I have nothing else to listen to. So I'm stuck listening to this book. Alright. I don't even know where I was going with that. Alright, so I'm I'm having a really hard time with this book, especially with understanding the characters' motivations behind the things that they do. The main character name is Summer, and she is a witch, and she is part of what the town refers to as the Crazy Season Sisters, because see, she's got 3 sisters. Her name is Summer, and then she's got a younger sister, Spring, and 2 older sisters, Autumn and Winter. Actually, I'm not really sure about their ages, relative ages, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it goes. In any case, so like the parents started by naming their kid Winter, and then I guess worked their way back to Spring. In any case, she lives in a small town in Tennessee, and they're a family of witches, but like nobody in the town knows that they're witches. Oh, and also Summer can talk to animals. Okay, so the love interest, because I think I'm pretty sure this is a romance novel. The love interest, his name is Cooper, and he is the town sheriff. His brother is the mayor. And their whole family is like another big family in the town. Well, okay, their family is a big family in the town. The sister's family is also a big family in the town, but the people in the town don't know that they're a big family. It has to do with like growing up as a witch in a town where you have to hide the fact that you're a witch. But that's for later. Okay, so in any case, okay, here's the thing. Like, here's the part that I don't understand. So like, she talks to animals. That's her power. Yeah, I know. That's her power. She talks to animals. And so here she is. She's talking to animals, and she has an animal sanctuary for like animals that she saves from like rescues, an exotic animal rescue. And so she's got an elephant and a chimpanzee. And Cooper, the town sheriff, has decided that her animals are dangerous. So he goes over to her house and gets really angry, which upsets the chimpanzee, and then he tries to shoot the chimpanzee. He tries to shoot the chimpanzee, and Summer uses her power to like stop time and then gets in the way of his gun, and he shoots her instead, right? So then, like, there's a big reveal where her sisters turn out to be witches, and they use their powers to heal her. It takes a week, by the way, for the witch power to heal her from being shot. And then that is supposed to be what triggers the two of them getting together, is because he sits by her bedside, while she's naked, by the way, for a week, right? Perv. Sits by her bedside while she's in a coma for a week, and then it's like, yeah, we should totally get together. And she's like, oh my gosh, like, you stayed with me for the whole week that I was in a coma after getting shot. Like, I'm sorry, but if dude shot me, I'm not going to be like, yeah, let's get together. No, I'd be like, you shot me. No, we can't get together. And you were trying to shoot my pet. Like, no, if someone shot Dee Dee or Hoochoo or Nat or Kip, the fluffy void with razors on his hands, if someone shot one of them, I'd be like, no, we can't be, like, no. So I'm just struggling to understand any of the motivations that these characters are exhibiting behind their actions, because that don't make sense. There is a very slight misalignment between these two pieces that are supposed to be perfect copies of each other. And I made the mistake of pulling the pins out a little bit too early. And so I'm just going to clean that up with the angle grinder. I'll line up this edge better, and then I'll do the same thing on the other side. I've lined up the ends and clamped those, so kind of gotten the most alignment I can out of the two panels. And it looks like I'm losing about 2 millimeters of width. Lesson learned. Recently, someone commented saying that I should explain the why behind the things that I do to make it clear to you guys as to why I'm doing things. So I am going to score the line around these two parts with this box cutter. And the reason why I'm going to do that is so that when I use the saw to cut them out, I get less chip out. So chip out is where the edges kind of fray and rip as the saw is cutting. Now, given the size of these two pieces, what I think I'm going to do is I'll score them with the box cutter, and then I'm just going to cut along here and along the back and cut them out. I'll cut a line down the middle, and then I'll actually cut them out using the bandsaw. So I'm really starting to not like this author. You know, it just seems like every time Cooper and Summer are about to like work things out, one of them does something super stupid and scares the other one, and then their whole relationship gets like blown off the rails. So, you know, how are they supposed to make it if this keeps happening? You know what I mean? Like, there's no way that you could be like, oh yeah, you know, I mean, sure, like every time something is just about to be like perfect in their relationship and it's supposed to be happily it's happily ever after, one of them is like, oh no, like Cooper's like, oh no, you used magic and it scared me, I need a break from our relationship. And then Summer's like, no, I can't be in a relationship with somebody who wants to just, you know, take breaks all the time. And then she goes running off to the mountains of Tennessee, where she bought land from her uncle, who it turns out is her father. Again, this author is really starting to bother me. Oh yeah, so the whole story with her uncle, right? So her dad, her dad had always told her that her uncle killed her mom, and then they were like, well, actually, no, your dad killed your mom because he was trying to kill your uncle and she got in the way, reminiscent of Summer getting in the way of the chimpanzee, mind you. And then they're like, actually, your uncle is your father and your father is your uncle, and like, right? So then it turns out that her uncle didn't kill her mom, right? Like, they think her mom is dead, but her mom's not dead. I know now, her mom's not dead. Her mom's in a coma or a stasis or like some sort of magical curse thing where she can't wake up like Cinderella. But that's at least where I'm going with this. But in any case, yeah, so I'm, you know, again, I'm really starting to dislike this author, and clearly this book is terrible. But again, now that I'm listening, I need to know what happens in the end, because there's only 2 hours left and Summer and Cooper are broken up, and Summer's now living with her twin sister that she didn't know existed in the mountains of Tennessee, and Cooper is at home and not going to work as the sheriff. He's just like hanging out, drinking at his house because he's depressed because he's not with Summer right now. Even though it was him who said he needed to take a break after she used magic and scared him. I mean, she's a witch. So looking over the way things are currently clamped, you can see that I rearranged things a little bit, and there is a method to my madness. So with this part over here, there was a little bit of a misalignment in the morning when I looked at it yesterday. So I rearranged the clamps in the hopes of pulling the parts back into alignment. Having them be misaligned isn't the end of the world. There's a 1/2 inch of material there, but it does help in terms of just making things look nicer. I don't know if the work that I did yesterday worked, but it was worth a shot, because what's the worst that could happen, right? Alright, beautiful people, so that concludes today's video. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of it, or got something out of it. In any case, please click like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. It really helps me out, and it helps out the channel, and it helps me to know that you guys are enjoying what I'm doing. So, I will see you guys in 2 weeks when we jump into the next video, stitching and gluing the hull together. Alright, talk to you then. Bye. So, the way that Cooper and Summer got back together at the end of the book, I mean, I'm kind of spoiling it by saying that they got back together, because you might want to, you know, read it or listen to it on your own. But I just, you know, everything that I said about the author of the book, I take back. Their love is beautiful, and their relationship, you know, I mean, the strongest sword is tempered by the flame, and I think that they are clearly, you know, gonna be in love with each other for forever, you know, because the Thorn witches, the Thorn girls, Summer and her sisters, they're cursed to only be able to love one person, and you know, in that way. You know, Summer and Cooper, I think they're going to be, they're looking forward to many years of happiness. So now I have to wait a couple of weeks. It did kind of end with a cliffhanger. She's got to go find a magical item to save her mother, who's slowly wasting away in a coma, and her twin sister got into a fight with her father and disappeared, and then her long lost brother came back, and you know, I'm hoping that they get into that in the next book in the series. So I've got to wait because it's not available right now, but I'm on the waiting list, and you know, at this point, this is all very stressful. I need yeah. Okay, well, it was a really good book.